We are live.
Yay, how you guys doing? This is your boy KLA, Cloud the Wanderer. And happy Sunday. And I have a extraordinary guest. Her name is Nugget Masino. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm so glad that you asked me to come on tonight. I'm happy to be here, and I can't wait to talk about all of the things in my experience of bodybuilding, where I've been, where I'm at now, and where I'm going. So hopefully this is a
Yeah,
very interesting show for your viewers.
yeah. Thank you for accepting my offer. I
Of
appreciate
course.
that.
Of course.
Nugget, I mean, that's your real name? That's a cute name.
It's I've gone by it for a very long time. To the
Oh,
point now where don't I don't really know many people that call me by my birth name.
oh,
And
okay.
if they do, it's funny because then I think that they don't. There's two things. They either don't know me at all, or we're not friends. There's like
Oh,
they don't know me. But everybody calls me that, and for better or for worse, if someone's saying, nugget this or nugget that, yeah, they're definitely talking about me. It's not. There's no confusion. So
oh.
it's stuck. It's been my name for a while. It's stuck, and it's just how everybody knows me now.
Or is there a reason why they call you that? Or
I had a name. My birth name is like something that everybody else was named, so it just differentiates me, makes it a little
okay,
easier. Yeah.
yeah, it's a cute
So
name.
it's just who I
So
am. It's become who I am.
yeah, you like looking at your pictures. You kind of remind me of you probably get it, that girl from the that played Harley Quinn on the
Oh,
Suicide
all the
Squad.
time. All
Yeah,
the
I
time.
I, I had a
Margot
feeling.
Robbie. Yes, I
Yeah,
do get
Margot
that all the
Robbie.
time.
Yeah,
We live in
I
Atlantic City,
yeah.
and I've been in the casino where I was actually approached by security and asked if
Right,
I needed assistance. And I don't
right.
know why they thought Margot Robbie might be visiting Atlantic City, but it was a funny little confusion. But yes, when Barbie came out, that was a lot. That last summer, I got that everywhere I went. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you could
Yeah,
do a
I'll
cosplay.
take it. She's gorgeous. I mean, I will 100% take that
Yeah.
that lookalike
Yeah.
comparison. I do get that.
Well, you are too.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, no doubt. So how did you get started in bodybuilding?
Okay, so it's something. Okay, so I'm 40 years old. I want to put that out there. I am 40 years old. I am not one of these young kids that got into this, right out of high school or college, which I think is amazing. I love to see people getting into it at a young age, and I really wish that I had. But for me, when I was 39, it was like a
Mm,
bucket list item. It was something I needed to do. And if I thought, if I don't do it now, then it might never happen.
right.
And I have to kind of retrace my steps back a few years because I am a runner. I've always been a runner. My sport was track. I played other sports as well. I worked out. I was mostly a cardio kid. But I run distance races, half marathons. I've never done a full marathon. No desire to do a full marathon, but I really admire people that do full
Yeah.
marathons. But I am 13.1 miles, and then hand me a Bloody Mary. I am done. Can't give me my medal and send me on my way. But back in I want to say 2017, I
Right.
started thinking seriously about competitive bodybuilding, and there I was. I started training for it, and then I got pregnant with my first child. So that delayed me. And then I got pregnant with my second child the second time I started training to
Mm,
go into prep. And then
right.
finally, now my kids are 6 and 3. I last year I said it's now or never. And I went into my first prep, which is probably about, I want to say like a 12 to 16 week prep. I don't remember the exact timing of it. I know
Mm,
it was sometime in like January we started, because my birthday's in January. And I told my coach, Joe, I said, I don't care when we start as long as it's not, on my birthday. So we started just after that. I had a May show, and it was with the ANBF nationals, and
right.
I went in there, and it was a surprisingly big show. I didn't know what to expect. Who does? And every prep is
Right.
different, and every show is different, and that's something I'm learning as well. But that first time, you really have no idea what is happening until you're really in it. And I ended up winning my pro card at that show. And you know, I thought it was going to be one and done, but then it was like, okay, well, you know, now that we've won, we might as well see what we can do with that. And I went on a very short prep through last summer. So I took about, you know, a month off after the show in May and started back in July. And I hit the stage for my pro debut, which is an ANBF show. I came in third, which was also last at that show. But I learned a lot, and I really liked my look, and I really liked my physique for that show. But the judges' feedback was that I was a little too hard, which was difficult feedback for only my second show and not really knowing, you know, maybe the criteria as well as I should, or you know, not necessarily building the physique that fits the criteria versus like what I think is my best look. So that was a huge learning experience for me, and something I'm grateful for, because it's made me the athlete that I am now. And even though it's only been a year since then, I've certainly done a lot of things in that time. And the build that I had in the last off season, last winter, was really focused on criteria, and it really paid off for me, because I ended up winning. I mean, fast forwarding, but I ended up winning every show I did in the overalls in the spring of this year. So, you know, taking that feedback, as hard as it was to hear that as a new bodybuilder, you know, coming in third place or last, you know, nobody wants to do that. And of course that, you know, that gets your nerves completely shot. But then I started looking at it from the place of, well, it can't get any worse, you know, so it's only up from here. And I think a lot of times people, when they start out in anything, especially bodybuilding, it can be really disheartening when you don't get the results that you want. And I think people either take it two ways. They either learn from that, you know, they look at the feedback, they get honest with themselves and what they could be doing better, or they let it derail them entirely and they throw away the whole sport. Because it is hard to hear, because it really does. I mean, it's your appearance, you know, that people are judging you on your appearance. And we spend our whole lives not judging people on their appearance, not putting our value as a person into our appearance. And then here we are, you know, starting across the stage, standing next to a whole lineup of just gorgeous, beautiful, you know, absolute stunners, baddies, and asking people to pick out which one looks the best to the criteria. So it can definitely do a number on your brain in terms of how you interpret that feedback or how you interpret losses and go on. So it's funny. So after that show where I came in third at my pro debut, I went on to Mr. America 2 weeks later, which I'm actually going to be competing in this coming Saturday. So I've just started my peak week for that. But I ended up doing a lot better. I ate a little more, I filled out a little bit more, and I placed in the top 5 my first time out of the gate there. So that was a real positive way to end my first pro season of 2 shows that I did, my third show of all time, before going into off season. And then, like I said, I was building, I was working nonstop, putting on weight, dealing with all of the things that come with that. You know, a lot of dysmorphia. When you're lean, you're not lean enough. When you're gaining weight, your pants don't fit. That's pretty terrible. But then, you know, you come full circle, and suddenly there you are back on the national stage. But this time, instead of winning my pro card, I won my first pro show.
Okay, wow, that's cool. Take us a little trip, like on the ANBF. Like, what was that like competing in that show, in your first show?
In my first show? Okay, so like I said, I was very nervous, and it was a pro-am. So the pros went earlier in the day, and I had rented an Airbnb right across the street from the venue, pretty much in Asbury Park, New Jersey. And I had my laptop up, my husband and I had our laptop up, and we were watching the show. And I was watching these athletes, these pro athletes, as an amateur who's never stepped on stage, who was about to make her debut later in the day. And I was just so impressed. And it freaked me out in a way too. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't look like that. You know, I don't know if I can do that. One athlete in particular, Kelly LaFrancis. Masino. Oh my God,
I know of her.
she stuck out to me at that show because she had competed in more than one category, and she won like every category she did. And I was sitting there just through the screen in the Airbnb across the street from the venue as I was trying to, get my last couple meals in. My coach wanted me to relax a little bit, knowing that I'm a high anxiety person. But watching her just kill it in every category she entered, and I was sitting there so in awe of that, that it gave me a little bit of a boost, I think, to see her do so well when I went across the street to finally get on stage with mine, the amateurs. And what a lineup that was. You go into it and you just don't know what to expect. I think it's kind of like trial by fire. And of course, it just matters who shows up that day. And there was such great competition. And the show was so long, and it felt like it was a whole day. And I was just waiting, and waiting and waiting. And I was scared to talk to anybody. I don't know why I was scared to talk to anybody, but I think that's just part of who I am as a person. It can take me a little bit to warm up if I don't necessarily know anybody or feel totally comfortable. And you don't know if people are sizing you up or you're sizing people up. But you get out there, and then it's like the lights hit, the music starts, and you're on. You're on. You're not thinking about it anymore. You're just muscle memory going through the posing that you've been practicing for months and months and months and months. And you just lay it out there on the line and you hope for the best. And that's kind of how it went for me. I felt pretty confident. I really liked my prep and the way that it worked out for me. And I liked the way I looked, and I felt really good about myself, and I was happy to be there. So all in all, that was and of course winning was great. I don't know if I expected to win. I don't know what I expected. I didn't know what to expect, as I said. But winning was definitely like, just wow, who thought that was going to happen? Because just 6 months ago I was thinking to myself, if I don't do this now, it's never going to happen. And a year and a half later, I'm still doing it. And
right.
Well, apparently.
Right. Yeah, because I seen your Instagram, and you compete in ABNF and OCB and what's
USBF.
the other thing? USBF. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I can imagine, like that's a lot of shows. Like altogether, how many shows is that?
Okay, so I've been adding on a show each prep. So I did
Right.
1, I did 2, so that's 3 last year, and then this year I did 3 in the spring, and I'm set to do 4 in the fall. So right now I'm at, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've competed 8 times.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be 10 by the time I'm ready to go back undercover and build some
All
more.
right. Well, we have a friend in the room, and all the rage George Page. There are many women who got into bodybuilding later in life. Yeah, that's true. A lot of women, they started in their 40s. Did you know about bodybuilding, like the sport, before you competed?
I did and I didn't. And I'll say that I was a cardio queen, like I kind of mentioned that. So I was you would mostly find me on the elliptical, for hours,
Right.
making sure I stayed in shape, running on the boardwalk. I live in Atlantic City area, running back and forth there, just generally doing a lot of cardio and very light weights, which is, I look back at that time in my life, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no wrong way to exercise and move your body, but
Right.
It's just so different from who I am now. I want to say that it wasn't until my gym owner, Tony Saxby, who owns Wolf Fitness in Brigantine and all the Wolf Fitness gyms, and also Live Fear Supplements. He was like, hey, have you ever thought about competing in bodybuilding? And I was like, no, but should I? And that's when I started looking into it. And my coach, Joe Lacera, who's wonderful, he is a former Mr. America Classic Physique, and he is actually competing next week with me, which is adding a different dynamic, because this is the first time we've been competing together at shows, which is a whole other interesting dynamic when your coach is also like going on stage, about exactly how that works. But he was somebody I looked up to, and I saw him doing it, and he was the first person I reached out to when I had questions about it, was how do I get started? And we've been, working together ever since.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, good luck on your upcoming show.
Thank you.
All the rage George Page bodybuilding is a test of discipline and passion.
Don't I know it?
Yeah, not too many people can do that, you know, type of. I mean, it's not like other sports. Like I'm sure you know, like baseball, basketball
Mhm.
stuff. So you know, it's
Well, let's
because
talk
it
about
takes
that because I think people who see me on Instagram, they see that I do a lot of things and somehow I get it done. So I think it's important to talk about how. I did mention that I have two children, 6 and
right,
3. I am
right,
married. Next week is my 5-year wedding anniversary to my husband, and I'm a full-time high school English teacher. In
okay,
addition to my husband runs a DJ business and I run my NugFit training on the side. So
right,
we have a lot going on all of the time. And a part of that discipline and passion is I'm up at 3 a.m. I am up at 3 a.m. and I'm in my garage on my elliptical or on my treadmill, getting my cardio in before work every day, before my kids get up. Because once my kids get up, it's about my kids. And once the kids get to school, I get to work. It's about my job. It's about the kids in front of me that I'm teaching. And then once, that part of the day is done, I go back and I do my lifts. And that might take me 2 hours, depending on what day it is. Like certain
right.
workouts are a little longer for me than others. Then I'm home and I'm making dinner. And I'm not just making dinner for me. I'm making dinner for 4 different people in my house because my 2 kids are very picky eaters and they might love something today, but tomorrow they hate it. So I generally find myself making all sorts of different things. I try to meal prep for myself in advance as much as possible, but that still involves a good amount of cooking. And then, it's homework, tubby time in bed, and then it's rinse and repeat. And I just don't know that everybody understands that when they get into this, is that to be elite, to be great, you have to put in that effort, and that effort is not easy. And I'll tell you, I've been dragging my butt when it comes to the cardio lately because I am burnt out on it. I've done 3 peaks. This is my 3rd peak week in 4 weeks.
Right.
I'm looking forward to taking that down a little bit, but I've been trying to come in a little leaner at each show, and I'm making these adjustments, and it's always, making adjustments based on how I look, the aesthetic, how I'm feeling, different things that are going on. So there's so much that goes into it, and there is only so much, so many hours in the day. And then on the flip side, you have to think about the expense of it all. Like, it is an
Right.
incredibly expensive sport.
Of course. Do you
Especially the
have?
better
Oh,
you get at it. I think the more expensive it gets, because then you don't want to compete in your backyard anymore. Or maybe you still do, but you also, like, I'm traveling to Florida and again in a couple weeks. And that, not just even the bodybuilding competition, but like all of the things that go into travel and everything there, flights, hotels, babysitters, dog sitters, house sitters, food,
right.
all of that
What?
stuff comes into play as well. So there's a lot. You have to have a lot of discipline and a lot of passion to keep going with this.
Yeah. Well, let me show some pictures
Okay. Oh, all
of your
right.
competition. Yeah.
That was during my little mini bulk this summer.
Okay. Did you ever thought about moving up to another division or?
It's funny you say that, because actually some of the feedback that I got at that first pro show, that debut that I did where I was a little too hard, they suggested that figure might be for me.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah. You
laugh
have
and
that
joke and I
potential.
say, well, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And I think for me to really excel in a figure or physique, or God forbid, women's bodybuilding, it would take me a very long time to put on the type of muscle to be truly competitive. Where I think that the feedback that I've actually gotten this year is that I listened to my feedback from last year, and I got away from the figure criteria and I moved toward very specifically the bikini category. And I think, there I am with my new friends. Oh, that
Okay.
was such a good, that Yorton Cup, I have to say, the OCB is just such a wonderful organization.
What year was this?
I'm
Was
just
this
so happy to be there.
was this recent or
This was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago
Oh
yesterday.
yeah, I seen the
Yeah.
game. I seen I watched it on the live stream. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, it's a
Cool.
great show. And honestly,
Yeah.
I met so many nice people. I saw so many
Yeah.
old friends, and it was just such a great, honestly, probably my favorite bodybuilding competition experience. And I'm so glad
Yeah.
that I went and got to experience the Yorton Cup. It's just such a big deal, that show. And I was a bucket list goal for this year was to
Right.
get there. And I was happy to just be there. Next year I'm going back to win it, but this year I was
Okay.
happy to be there.
Yeah, there were a lot of competitors in the bikini division. It
76,
was
I think
yeah,
they were saying. That's a
70
lot.
different
Pros, 76
classes.
pros.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a bit exhausting because it was like it was a lot. Like it was a lot of competitors, and it's like I didn't care who won, just win. Like think somebody. Like, it
Well,
was-
I was in class G, which you never really hear of a class G, and that wasn't even the last
yeah,
class. There was an H, and we were all looking at each other like, and we're all blonde and all in these sparkly
right.
suits, and it was like everyone was beautiful, like there was barely any difference between these
That's what I'm
ladies in
saying.
this lineup.
Like how?
It was a very tough job for these judges to pick out, and I think they did a great job with that. Actually, I truly
Yeah,
do, and I wouldn't want that job because I was looking at everyone like this one's beautiful and that one's beautiful, and they all
right,
look the same,
right.
with such minor little differences in
Yeah,
details in the criteria. That was a very difficult job for those judges, and I do think that they got that spot on. Jillian Vaughn, chef's kiss. What a great athlete. I'm really happy
yeah.
for her.
I forgot who won. Like who won? Julia
Jillian
Vaughn.
Vaughn. Yeah,
Jillian Vaughn. Okay.
she came in, I think she's been competing there for a few years now. She was a third place overall. Then she was second place last year, and this year she finally got it. And I'll tell you, she is just as lovely as they come. She is just somebody that
Yeah.
you want to win. You're happy when she wins.
Right.
It's just a delight, and truly, what a unit. Like she's perfect. What can I say? They got that right.
Mm.
They absolutely got that call right.
What did you think about the other divisions? Did you pay attention to the other divisions of women?
I did, and mostly because I do have friends that were competing, especially in figure. So my friend
Right.
Kelly Masino,
Yeah.
who I was talking about earlier, she was competing in figure, as well as Vanessa Reed. So I was trying to, while I was getting my services done, my hair and my makeup for the show, I was trying to watch on the live stream and making sure that I got pictures of them and
Right.
and things like that. So, I was paying attention to that. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that lineup. That is an iconic photo. Look,
Yeah,
that's just a whole.
Yes, look nice.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's a difficult job for the judges. That was the top 5
Yeah,
G, and
I
I'll tell
wouldn't
you,
know
that was.
I wouldn't know who to pick out of this lineup.
It was a
Like
tough class. That was the toughest lineup I've ever been in line with. And I'll tell you, everybody was so nice. Like,
what
it
place
was
that you
truly just
went?
such a great experience.
What place you was in?
I ended up 4th. Yeah,
Oh,
they called me
okay.
in 3rd, but then I think it ended up being 4th.
That ain't too bad. That ain't too
No, not
bad.
at all for my first time out of the gate for only
Yeah.
doing this for a year. I'll take
Yeah.
it.
I went to my first show not too long ago in August. It was the OCB in the Big Apple. I'll show some pictures a little bit. I'm always showing my guests the pictures because because you guys are OCB, so it's like I got just the women's physique and
Incredible.
yeah, this
Incredible
the
athletes.
figure and stuff, and yeah, I would say that like this year was like my first time actually going to a bodybuilding show. I went to the New York Pro, and I went to
Oh, I had a friend compete at the New York Pro.
Oh, that's cool. Like who?
Yeah.
Was she
Raphael Suga?
bikini?
No, it was
Uh,
Guy.
Oh, okay. I'm not
Physique, I
too
think.
familiar
Yeah.
with the men like that, but
Yeah, he's from my gym. He's one of the trainers. Oh,
your
one
last
thing.
name is the same as Denise Masino. Have you been asked if you're any relation? Do you know who she is?
I have heard of Denise Masino. We are not
Okay.
actually related, but
Oh,
actually
okay.
Masino is my husband's last name,
Oh,
but he's not
okay.
related. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Well,
But that's a
Like,
great question, actually, because I saw her name on something once, and I was like, "Who is Denise Masino? Is she related to us?" I did
have you
ask that
Googled
question.
her? Have you
Yeah,
Googled
we
actually?
were
What
wondering
did
who
you
this
see?
Denise Masino is.
What did you
An
see? What
incredible
do you know
athlete.
about her? Oh,
Just
okay.
an
Okay.
incredible athlete, but I would be very
That's it?
happy to be related to her.
Oh, okay.
But unfortunately, no, I'm not related to her.
Or
That was
was
a great
that it?
question. I really appreciated that one.
What is that it? No other things? Or oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
I'll leave that alone.
No,
But
just
compared to the men, it's more expensive to a woman in bodybuilding. All they have to wear is banana hammocks and board shorts.
that is so
You like-
true. And I will add this. We have the added insult, especially bikini, is that we're always last. There's very few shows where a bikini is not last. So the guys, And I mean, maybe they put the guys first because we do have to get the hair and the makeup done and all of that other stuff. But man, that is a very long day. Like, I actually thought at the Jordan Cup, and that was probably the most well-run show I've ever competed in, where they had all of these athletes, huge amount of athletes, and it was on time. Like, they were on schedule. It was top tier on the scheduling. So kudos to the people that were running that. But man, I was like, man, I should take some time off and do like women's bodybuilding, because I could be eating lunch right now instead of, you know, just getting there, eating my rice cakes, getting ready to get on stage. But yes, definitely a little bit less expensive for the men folk. And definitely a little less time consuming, because they tend to get in and get out. And if the show is delayed or it's running late, I feel like my category is the one that suffers the most from that. Okay. Not always my favorite part, because I do get hangry. You know, so I usually bring a cookie that I've been looking at for weeks. And you know, the longer I'm looking at this cookie backstage, the worse off it is. But it always ends up.
So you're preparing for the Mystic. The universe, the Mr. Universe, Mr. America. Okay.
Yeah, right here in Atlantic City. Yeah, it's a home game for me. So I'm excited. All right.
How do you feel about that? Like, what's training for you? Like, what's training like for you? Trying to compete in the show.
Well, making a couple tweaks here and there, trying to come in a little leaner than I did at Yorton, and I was very pleased with my Yorton physique when I got those photos back. I put on a good size of muscle, and I'm actually really looking forward to getting on stage and kind of showcasing, even in the short turnaround of what it's like 3 weeks from Yorton. I'm looking forward to showcasing the small adjustments that I did make. One of the biggest thing is that I don't know why I get nervous on stage. Like, I really get nervous sometimes. And my legs shake. And I did a really good job in the spring of kind of getting over that. But then for some reason at Yorton, my legs were just vibrating. So, you know, I've kind of been trying to definitely work on my posing a bit and make sure that I am hitting my poses and not like halving them, because I'm afraid I'm going to fall over or something in those heels. And let's also talk about that for a second. Men do not have to wear the heels. Right. And some of the ladies don't either, but man, those heels they're no joke. You know, I don't know. I honestly, they are no joke. I have like a fear of just falling on my face. Thankfully, knocking on wood somewhere that doesn't happen, but definitely a fear for sure.
How many times do you practice?
Every day. Every day. Every day.
Yeah,
and
I can imagine.
So much better, because when I first came out, I was like, I'm happy to be here. I was very like bubbly in my walk. Now I think I've, you know, been a little smoother. And you know what's really helped me is actually just changing my physique a little bit more and putting more muscle on in that hourglass X kind of frame that we're looking for in bikini. That's definitely helped with my posing too, because it's not like I'm trying to fake anything. It's that it's actually there. So, you know, I would say number one, if you're having a hard time with your posing and you're wondering why you're not looking like everybody else who's doing the same thing, you might need to take some time and just put on a little bit more muscle. I found that to be true with myself, you know, and honestly, I didn't realize that by doing abs all the time, I was making my waist blocky. Who would have thought, you know, you're sitting there and you're like, yes, I'm doing abs. I have a six pack. But the reality is you know, I haven't done abs in a year. And I look way better.
You don't do ab workouts at all?
Hardly. I just started doing them a little bit, hanging abs a little bit, because I felt like maybe it's been a year, so maybe we should do something, but I'm not doing nearly as much as I have been doing my entire life. And we're talking like 39 years of ab work.
Because you did the cardio.
Doing the right thing.
I figured because probably you did the cardio majority of the times. You did marathons and stuff.
Yeah.
So you did like half a marathon, or?
Yeah, half. Yeah, I've never done it. Yeah. I can show
Have you ever won a show?
Yeah,
have you ever?
My wall of medals.
Wow.
That's all of my track medals there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I got all those. And that's so far my bodybuilding medals and awards. Yeah. This is my gym. This is my home gym.
Looks nice.
Yeah, except my kids have kind of trashed the other side, so I'm trying not to show that too much.
Yeah,
There's a lot of toys down here that should probably find a place, but it's nice to have a space at home to be able to get it done when I can't leave the house.
Yeah. Well, we can show some more pictures. So you're an English teacher. You're also like what's that's like being an English teacher and then preparing for a show, and what do you what grade do you teach? Is it
Seniors in
college?
high school, seniors.
Oh wow. Wow,
Yeah,
okay. Are they mature or they just kind of like
there are a lot of
all over the place?
athletes.
All right, all right.
So I think that actually, and I don't really try to hide the fact that I'm a bodybuilder, and it's never like sexualized in a weird way.
Right.
I think that the athletes that I teach appreciate the fact that I am an athlete as well, because they understand that it takes discipline, the effort, all of the things that go into their sport, they also know go into my sport. So I think that that actually gets me a bit of respect with my students, because of the fact that they know that I understand that outside of this classroom and outside of this class, that they also have those demands. And a lot of them are really like great athletes, or they're trying to be, because they're trying to get into college, trying to get scholarships. So they're trying to really raise their own levels at their sport. So I found that I've gotten nothing but positive feedback, and I'm not the only actual bodybuilder at my school. Like there's others, so it's not an uncommon thing,
Okay.
thankfully. But I do think that the athletes and anybody that has anything that they do outside of school that they're committed to, whether it's theater or if it's marching band. I do find that that actually helps me create a rapport with my students, because they know that I'm putting in the work and the hours outside of that too. And they're always so happy for me when I win. And it's really nice. Like they make sure that they congratulate me and things. So it's nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good that you is there a particular person that like that you encourage that want to do bodybuilding in one out of your students?
Out of my students, I did have a couple students last year who started talking about being interested in it, and I certainly sent them the right direction, because I'm not prepared to train anyone at this point right now in
Right.
this, because I'm so focused on my own training, which I have to give a lot of credit to my coach Joe, that he puts up with me, knowing that he's also going through the same thing, and I'm constantly, up his butt with problems. Um, but no, I haven't trained anybody particularly, but I've certainly talked to a few female students about doing it, and I hope that I steered them in the right direction. And one of the things that I do love to see, and I mentioned this pretty early on, the younger girls and boys, the younger kids getting in there. I mean, I'm a mom of two boys. I hope my boys want to come to the gym with me and spot me at
Have
that
they
point when
gone
I'm
to your
1,000 years
shows?
old.
Have
Yeah,
they
they've
gone
been
to
to a
your?
few. Yeah, they call it World's Strongest Mommy.
No, that's cool.
That's what I compete in. I compete in World's Strongest Mommy, and sometimes I'm World's Strongest Mommy, and sometimes I'm almost the strongest mommy. But we're always, we're always succeeding. We're always getting better. We're always bringing a better package. So it's always about reinforcing that idea of forward motion to my boys, because I am trying to set that example for them. It's funny. My son was eating an Oreo, a Halloween Oreo, and I really wanted this Oreo. Okay, and he's like, "Mom, you want to bite?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And he was like, "No, Mom, it's not healthy. I don't think you should have it." And of course I wasn't really going to bite it, but I was like, "Yeah, buddy, you're right. That's not, you can eat them in moderation." So we do a lot of, moderation and healthy attachments to foods in our house, because I think that it also, they see me only eating, chicken and potatoes or salmon
Right.
and zucchini. I don't want them to think that that's normal either, because that's not that great. I mean, it's healthy, but I want them to see that I can also enjoy myself and enjoy treats, because being too strict outside of a competition and prep purposes, it can be just as harmful as going too much the other way and indulging in things 24/7. So I really want to
Right.
make sure that they have a healthy relationship with their bodies and with food. And I'm happy to encourage them in whatever sports or, arts or whatever it is that they want to do. I'll be the first person in line getting the tickets when those days come.
How far do you? I don't know. It's probably kind of early for you, but how far do you see yourself competing? At what point would you say would you stop?
Right now, I don't see a stop. And that's the crazy thing,
Okay.
because I thought this was a one and done, but I just feel like I haven't reached my full potential yet. And I
Right.
have some things in my head that I see very clearly. I see some moments for me that are just a matter of time and happening. And for me to get to that, to visualize that, to be the version of me that needs to walk through that door, that the universe is just going to open the door for me, I have to keep on this path. And I just feel like I haven't reached the pinnacle. You haven't seen the best of Nugget Masino yet. And I think she's coming. And
Would you
after
want to
that,
take?
who knows? But
Would you want
I
to?
think,
Um,
go ahead.
now I was going to ask you. Would you want to take like time off, like a year, just
Yeah,
to
I am going to be
slow
taking
it
a year
down?
off ish,
Okay.
about a year off. So I'm competing. My last show for this year is November 9th. And then November
Okay.
10th, I'll be having myself a nice big old margarita and something that isn't
Okay.
chicken or salmon. And then I'm going to be building for a little while. And
Uh-huh.
then I hope to be back on stage in the fall this time next year.
Uh-huh. In the bikini division, the criteria is to hold a level of muscle, but not having too much saturations and muscle density.
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Was that a
Yeah.
question? That
I
is.
think it's just him trying to understand the bikini
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he
that's it.
he
Is that, you know,
interviews.
and if unfortunately, I guess, you know, I can't show you right now, but the photo of me, it's one of my favorite pictures of me too, like the photos from the show where I came in a little too hard. You know, I'm a little too hard, but I've also built out my lats and I've built out my glutes, and now I have an entirely different. Yeah, so that's that right there. I think that I'm there in the blue in the middle. I think that that is pretty much as standard bikini as it gets in the natty world right there.
Well, I could show a little
Proud of
flick.
me.
I could show a little highlight film of you that I kind of made.
Okay.
Just bear with me a second, and there we
Oh
go.
my gosh! See them again soon. That was amazing. Thank you for showing that to me, because that just reminded me, you know, how hard I really have worked for this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Like what kind of motivates you to just work out hard like that? You just you have that athletic background, I would suppose.
I think it's part of just who I am as a person. I think I've been competitive my whole life. And I think if someone tells me I can't do something, hello guys,
Right.
sorry, my kids just busted in. Um,
Yeah.
Here, you want to come up here and say hello? It's my 3-year-old.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hi.
How are you?
You okay? Oh, you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're looking at yourself? Okay. All right, go play. I'll be back. I'll be done in a couple minutes. All right.
Yeah.
I've just always been very competitive. And when someone tells me not that I can't do something, immediately do something.
Wow.
You know, I immediately
Like,
go out and I try to prove everybody wrong.
yeah. What's your favorite workout? Like out of those workout routines?
Okay, so for me, it changes because I honestly,
No, it's okay. It's okay.
chaos. I'm so sorry.
It's
Still,
okay.
come on, dude. He just face planted him a bunch of toys. I apologize. Guys, mommy's finishing up the interview, okay? So you can't be talking to me.
Okay.
I love you too. Okay, sorry. My favorite workout, people would assume it's glute day. I actually do not look forward to glute day because I work so hard on glute day that it is insane to me and I'm sore forever and ever. People would think that I love that based on my glutes. But no, that is not my favorite. So right now I think it's got to be like lats shoulders, because I don't know what it is about that, but I feel that I am. Oh, guys, come on upstairs. That I feel that I am, really strong, and I don't know. It's like an immediate gratification.
Yeah. All the rage,
Sorry about
George
that. My
Page.
kids are crazy.
It's okay. I trust me. What did the rest of your family think of your bodybuilding?
Very supportive. Very
Yeah.
supportive. Yeah. Stellan, Remy, can you do me a favor and take Stellan upstairs, please? Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like yeah, because I interviewed somebody not too long ago, and they had kids, and they was kind of interrupting a bit and stuff. So I know how it's like. So
I
don't worry about it.
apologize.
Yeah. So I noticed that you do like a podcast. If correct me if
I
I'm
was
wrong.
on a podcast. I was a guest. I did
Oh,
not do a
okay.
podcast. I kind of thought about doing a podcast
Yeah.
with Kelly, actually, but we haven't actually ever put anything into motion so far with that. But it was definitely something that we were thinking about talking about doing.
And
Who
how was
knows?
that?
I like being a guest. I appreciate you
Oh,
having me on here.
yeah. How was that though? Like your podcast that you was in. Like
It was good. So it started off as an interview on a local radio station
right.
with Crystal Bailey Turner, who is just an incredible interviewer. And, afterwards, there was a lot of positive feedback to the show. So she asked me if I could come back and do her Coolest People in the World podcast as kind of a continuation or part two to the original local radio station interview.
Yeah, I mean, you seem like you have potential to have your own podcast because you have that gift of gab. No offense, but you can talk. Like I'm not able to have that.
Don't worry about dead air.
I'm not much of a talker. Like, I'm not, and when I say it, I'm not that much of a talker, but I just try to express myself as much as I can. So, it's not a bad thing. You're able to, if you have like something like a thought, you probably can express it, if it makes sense. But
I spend a lot of time talking all day long at my job. It's like my job to talk to people. I can talk to a wall. So I figure, like, if people can't talk to me or relate to me, then it's got to be something with them, because I do feel like I'm a very easy to talk to person. And if it's awkward silence, I will fill it.
Have you ever been like a motivational speaker or?
No, but you never know. The day is young.
Yeah,
I mean, I
maybe
like
you.
to think that my job involves motivational speaking. I feel like I'm always trying to get my students motivated to achieve, whether it's in my classroom or outside of it. So I do think that there is an aspect of that in what I do on a day to day, but I've never, had like a speaking engagement like that. Not that I'm opposed to it. It just hasn't come up yet. Something
Yeah,
to add
maybe.
to my resume, I guess, for sure.
Yeah, maybe you could make a video of your health journey. Yeah, because you're able to. You really can articulate yourself. So,
Thank you.
all right. So let me leave you alone. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk with you.
Of course, I'm
And
so happy to be here.
yeah, do you have any shout outs or anybody that you want to say thank you to or?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody at ANBF and Beerly for giving me an opportunity to get on the stage to begin with. Joe Lacera, my coach. I would be literally nowhere without him, and I'm so grateful for him. Also Daryl at the USBF, and he does the Florida Natural. He runs a great show down there. Obviously, everybody's at OCB that has taken me into their organization and really made me feel like, I belonged, and that was very important. Stellan, can you stop, please? Sorry.
All right, so let me leave you alone. I know you got.
I'm sorry that it ended on that note, but my kids
No,
are
it's
crazy.
cool.
Y'all
It's
are
cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Thank you anyway.
nuts. Thank you.
If you want to come back, you feel free. It's not a problem.
Okay, anytime. I'm happy to, maybe when the season wraps up, I'll come back and I'll do a part 2 about how the rest of the season went.
Yeah, please
Check in with you on
please
the
tell me.
boat, see how it's going.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thank you again. Wrapping it up.